For the first 10 years of my life, I lived on a dairy farm in a little tiny farming community called Coralline in Victoria, in Gippsland. There were a lot of memories about that first 10 years there, but the main thing is that we went to Sunday school and to church with Mum. When I was about 10, the property was sold and we moved to the Mornington Peninsula, where Mum and Dad bought another property, which was orchard, so growing apples and pears and that. And that was also a time where we found another church that had youth groups, and we became part of that. During those years, youth group used to go to a Youth for Christ meeting in Melbourne, and I used to go occasionally on the bus trip to Melbourne, and ironically around about the age of 16, that's where I met Andrew. Those teen years were happy years but also difficult years because Mum had a number of health problems which resulted in the marriage breaking down. It was also at a time when, because I'd always gone to church and always gone to Sunday school and was very much a ritual habit, and because I'd started going with Andrew, it just gave me an opportunity to cut loose from the church and just do my own thing. Over those years that I was away from the Lord, I married, and our first two children were born prior to me just being, discovering or noticing that God was drawing me back, just little by little, He was drawing me back to Him. I can remember one evening I'd finished reading a book on the world was not, they were not worthy of the world, and it was just an autobiography about a particular lady in Europe. And I realised then that who was I and why was I complaining about my life after having read this book. And I remember this evening going into my bedroom, getting down on my knees and just totally and utterly surrendering to God, just letting go. And in that surrender and lifting my arms to Jesus, I was flooded with this amazing love and security and support. And when I stood up, I was totally different. And from that point on, Jesus was my focus. Jesus was my desire. And we've been through ups and downs and that, but through it all, He is my all in all. And that's how the relationship, that's where He became the most important person to me. Through that time, right up till 2 years ago, He'd been leading me and directing me and encouraging me and showing His faithfulness. Well, as many of you know, around about 2 years ago, I started on a journey I never thought I'd ever experience. And Andrew became unwell, and eventually 6 weeks later he died. Through those 6 to 8 weeks, I wasn't praying or anything. He was holding me. Holy Spirit was holding me. Jesus was holding me. Through those special weeks, the love of God through church family was shown to me in ways that told me that God cared for me, that He was aware of how I was feeling. The reality of Christ has been strengthened, that I know that He's there not only within, but I was resting in Him and I could trust Him no matter how bleak or how foreign the future was going to be. It's my journey, and I know there's others that have going through similar journeys of losing their lifetime partner and that. But the comfort is Andrew's with the Lord and we'll get to see Him one day. But Jesus is my husband. He is my husband. He guides me and strengthens me. The things He's got planned for me, the things He's got planned for you is they're not to harm you. They're to give you a hope and a future. They're to guide you, they're to strengthen you, they're to heal you. But just trust in the Lord and He will direct your path. He will give you everything that you need of, whether it's material, whether it's physical, or whether it's spiritual. He will give you the things that you need for Him.